I never expected we'd have our hands this full after returning from Fargus. Still, we've managed to quell the turmoil and maneuver our way back to Enbar.
Due to the valiant efforts of Count Berglis and his Aryan Road garrison, the kingdom's counter-offensive has hardly put a dent in the western lines. I wager the reinforcements reached them in time.
It's a good thing we do not have to maintain a large military presence in Leicester. But of course, that was Her Majesty's plan all along.
We'd be up to our shoulders in trouble if we hadn't settled hostilities with the Alliance.
Do you think people in the Empire will be all right? I'm worried about the opera company, of course, but I'd also be devastated if anything happened to my friends in the capital.
The end result of all this was the complete expurgation of the Empire's remaining dissidents. In a way, we should be thanking them for handing us this opportunity on a gilded platter.
Adrestia deserves some stability for a change, so I think it's good that Her Majesty has total power now. With the opposing nobles wiped out, it's a breath of fresh air after the way things were under the old Emperor.
Lynn, think about who's here.
It is all right, Dorothea. I have moved on.
It's funny, though. I was sure my father would take part in the rebellion, but he just didn't. I mean, I feel like all he ever did was complain about Her Majesty, you know? I guess he was so scared of the church that he decided to stay holed up in Garreg Mach.
What is our next action, Lady Edelgard? If we are returning to the Western Front, I will have preparedness.
Fighting your own people sure takes the thrill out of battle. So let's go wall up the kingdom instead and put an end to all this. Who's with me?
All that remains is for Adrestia to claim victory.
And along those lines, I wish to present an idea. One last stratagem to ensure that we prevail.
We were successful in striking down Cronia at Fort Mercius. However, Lord Arundel, which is to say Talus, remains at large, and any schemes Solon may be plotting are so much conjecture in the wind. Still, his efforts in Rim territory effectively empowered the late Duke Ire to stage a coup. Whatever the case, he must have a very good reason for seeking to prevent the kingdom's fall.
But why would they help the people who are harboring the Archbishop? It makes no sense. Unless their aim is simply to prevent the war from ending by any means possible.
We know the kingdom's court mage, Cornelia, is connected to those who slither in the dark. They may have planted other associates in Fargus as well. If they already have the king's court dancing on strings, it stands to reason they would focus their attention on obstructing the Empire.
I agree the theory hangs together, but does that mean we should expect more interference?
We should, Your Majesty. Though I would at least like to think they no longer have anyone left who can act brazenly in the open.
And need we worry about our mercenary friend?
I was under the assumption that they had your implicit trust.
Absolutely, but not enough to purge all of the doubt from my heart. I once trusted my uncle, as well as the late Duke Ire, and he wasn't even replaced with a doppelganger. People who come in contact with those who slither in the dark are not the same afterward. How am I to trust anyone in a world where such a thing can happen?
I do not disagree, Your Majesty.
Yes, well, we must remain vigilant until the war is over for good and all. Although I wonder if we can rest easy even then.
We still don't really know much about Solon, Cronia, and Talus. I was thinking this would be a chance to learn about my power, or who you actually are. But
Oh well.
Oh well. Is that all you have to say for yourself?
I mean, I'm still curious, but my attention right now is on the battles ahead. And hey, it's not like knowing the truth would change much for you anyway. Even if I am related to those slithering people somehow, it's not like I'd want to split up with you.
That's music to my ears. It's incredible to see just how fast you've matured. Makes me proud to call you my partner in destiny. Is this what being a parrot feels like?
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, this war will be over soon, so let's do what we've got to do to see it through together. I'll be counting on you, Arval.
Scarlet Blaze. Torment of the Eagle and Lion. Edelgard succeeds in containing Ayre's insurgency, and while she is concerned by the absence of the nefarious Taurus, she prepares her army for the next step regardless. The time is nigh to crush the kingdom and Central Church's growing momentum and put an end to the war once and for all.
I've gathered you here in Garreg Mach because the time has come. We are returning to the front.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting to hear that forever. Let's go wreck things!
For the next phase of our campaign, we'll be working with the Alliance's leader, Claude, to tighten our cordon around the kingdom. Rather than try to advance on the Western Front, we'll join forces with the Alliance and press in from the east.
This means we'll be marching northeast from the monastery and infiltrating Galatea.
I hope we can finally end it this time. I don't think I can deal with doubling back again.
Agreed. This slog has slogged on long enough.
Worry not, friends. I'll not be blindsided twice. I promise you that. We won't rest until all of Fodlan is united. We will fight tooth and nail for it, and we'll do so together.
So, we're finally dusting off our armor and going somewhere, huh? You must really want to end this war if you're letting the two of us loose on the kingdom.
Quite right, Captain Gerald. We will not accept anything less than the fall of the royal capital. You and your mercenaries will be marching with us. This is not a problem, I trust.
Let's just say I have a history with someone at the capital and leave it at that. But if the time's come for me to sort that out, then so be it. In any case, we're ready to go, right, kid?
We'll earn our keep.
Gotta say, I'm excited to be fighting with you for a change.
We made some headway on the Western Front once the Empire pulled its main force back.
What does it matter when their Minister of Military Affairs still holds Aryan Road? Even if we were in a position to keep throwing troops at those walls, we're never going to crack them.
But if we keep digging our heels in here, their main force will be on us again in no time.
It appears they have already dealt with the insurrection at Fort Mercius. If they don't come at us from the west, they'll soon waltz right in from the east.
Might I offer a suggestion, King Dimitri?
Of course, Lady Rhea.
We should retake Garreg Mach. It is the only way to reverse our current fortunes. If I call upon the Church's faithful, they will come running from every corner of Fodlan to liberate the monastery in the goddess's name. With Garreg Mach under our control, we will be able to keep the Imperial army in check. Additionally, It might convince some of the more fickle Alliance lords to reconsider their loyalties.
I mean no disrespect, Lady Rhea, but this proposal hardly seems...
There is more. As you know, the Bishop of the Southern Church is currently seated at the monastery. If we remove him, it reminds the world anew that Archbishop Rhea is the rightful head of the Church of Seiros. I believe this will shake some of the more devout Adrestian lords from their Emperor's grip.
While their faith may waver now, Adrestia is still the cradle of the Church of Seiros. There are yet many pious believers among their nobility. If we can pull them to our side, it may shift the war back in our favor.
We should strike while the iron is hot. I will get the word out at once.
Hold, Lady Rhea. While I now concede that your plan to retake the monastery has some merit, I must ask that you alert no one.
And why not? I need only say the word, and an army of believers will flock to our cause.
Yes, and the moment the enemy spies people flooding in from across hill and dale, they'll realize what we're planning and bolster their defenses.
You believe their defenses are mightier than the faith of the people? By the goddess, have our enemies truly become so powerful? In that case, what do you propose?
We entrust the eastern lines to houses Karen and Galatea, then ride en masse toward Aryan Road. The enemy will think we intend to assail the Silver Maiden, but instead, we break east.
East? Then we'll be attacking the monastery through the Valley of Torment. I get your thinking now. If we attack from the west, Aryan Road would be at our backs, and the Empire could box us in.
Very well. I have no objections. My church members will assist in guiding your soldiers through Aelal. The monastery is holy and precious to us, and by the name of the goddess, I swear, it will be ours again.
Good. Then I'll ready the troops. Lady Rhea, Seteth, I place all of our futures in your hands.
So, this is probably a giant waste of everyone's time, but
What if we tried this?
I have the most brilliant idea. Naturally, this task falls to me.
Shall we?